Fine. So in this video, we'll see some interesting facts about multi-threading. Now, the first interesting fact is after starting a thread, it can never be started again. If you do so, an illegal thread state exception is thrown. Now, what that means? That means that one thread can ideally be called only once in its lifetime. You cannot call that thread again in its life. That means that once you have called it and it has done its execution, it cannot be reused. So you cannot reuse a thread. Okay, so let's demonstrate this. So what we are doing, we are having two threads, and now I want this thread to start once again. Okay, now let's see what happens. Suppose that I remove this first thread also for now. Now I try to run it once again. Yeah, so what happens is that as soon as this thread starts and it again tries to start it, now it is telling that illegal thread state exception. Why? Because main thread they delegated the task to this thread, so it is running parallelly, and the main thread again try to again invoke the same thread, and it has thrown this exception, java lang.illegal thread state exception. So you cannot basically call a thread again. Okay, so it can be just used once. Fine. Now the second point here, which is quite important, is that each thread starts in a separate call stack invoking the run method from the main thread. The run method goes onto the current call stack rather than the beginning of the new call stack. Fine. So what it means to say is that as soon as you hit this start method from this thread, like as soon as you do multi2.start, basically what happens that from this point a separate stack is started for this thread. The thread name thread2, it will have a separate stack, and it will start concurrently. Main thread will be going down, and this will again create a new thread, and they both will start to have run independently. Fine. But in case instead of instead of invoking start, if by chance you just directly try to invoke the run, because you can see that we have the run method in this class. So if instead of calling start, which in turn calling run, if we directly call the run method, what happens is that new thread will not be created. I mean, a new thread is created, but the stack, this will not start a new stack. Instead, the main stack only will be continued. So if you run this basically this class, see what will be the output. The output is main 0, main 1, main 2, main 3. Why? If when we were doing the start, see the difference. Notice it is very important point. When we are calling the start, which internally is calling run, then what is happening when we are running, the thread is telling that its name is thread2. Why? Because here we are printing the thread name, thread.get thread blah blah. But if we are directly trying to hit the run method, basically what is happening, that this is not creating a new stack, but this is just like a direct calling to a function. You are not calling this means you are not calling this run method with a new stack, new parallel stack. No, you are not calling. You are using the same main stack. So that's why if you want to have the use of multi-threading, you should call start. You should not directly call the run method. And that is what it is telling here, that each thread starts in a separate call stack, obviously, because they both are concurrent, they both are independent, they both should run parallelly. So invoking the run method from main thread, the run method goes onto the current call stack rather than at the beginning of new call stack. So instead of running in a parallel new call stack, it will just use the existing main method stack. So multi-threading effect will not be visible here. So this is an important point. So you should always hit start method, and this internally will call the run. Okay, and this, you know that this is the runnable stage, and when it reaches to the run, that will be the running stage, and this is the new stage. So that's it. So these were the two important points which I wanted to discuss regarding to the threads. So in the next slide, we will see about the priority of thread, and we will see some more detail about the main threads. So stay tuned. See you in the next video.